Hi, and welcome back to MD, PhD, ETC. I'm your host, Dr. Robert McClay. And today I'm going to do a short rant about the difference between a hypothesis and a theory. This gets thrown around a lot around the issue of the theory of evolution. And people will say, oh, it's just a theory. And sometimes people come up, well, what's the difference between a hypothesis, an idea that needs to be tested, and a theory? Well, short answer, a hypothesis is just that, is an idea that can be tested and generally is falsifiable. So you can never really say something is definitively true, but you can say something is not false in that regard. That's a hypothesis. So I could test, for example, the idea that if I take my keys, if I drop it, I propose that it's going to fall at a certain speed and acceleration, and I can test that, and sure enough, my hypothesis proved true. The larger idea behind that, about how it all works, a frame of thinking, is a theory, which is why what governs this is the theory of gravity. It's the idea that objects attract each other based on their mass. Mass being somewhat conveniently defined as something in the other direction that determines how much attraction it has. And that's how we determine mass. So it's kind of a circular argument, but it's a way of explaining the whole universe that Newton developed and turned out to be a very, very useful way of thinking of things. Similarly, then it was replaced by the theory of relativity as a way to explain gravitational forces, a different frame of thinking. In psychiatry, we have psychodynamic theory based on the idea that there are subconscious motivations that drive human behavior. That's a frame of thinking. And getting back to why evolution is a theory is because it's a way of thinking about how nature works, that we assume that it's constantly changing over time, and that therefore explains how different species develop, why the way we are. It's about survival of the fittest and passing on genes. And that's an idea that allows us to understand nature in a more universal sense. So again, hypothesis, single testable idea; theory, framework of thinking that allows us to explain larger things, which individual hypotheses, by the way, can support or refute that frame of thinking. But the whole frame of thinking is the larger theory. Thanks.